Hey, what's up, Scorpio? Welcome to your collective reading. This is for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, as well as Mars, or also any other placements you may have in your houses, house placements, that is. But this is for the Scorpio collective. This one is for the month of June. I said June, July, end of June into July, but because this one's came a bit later, you could consider it just like July going into August. This is for my Scorpio collective. All right, so let's see what's coming in for you guys, Scorpios. Okay, so I'm kind of getting I'm getting something about Colorado, Arizona. Is there like a place called Springfield? I'm also getting very strong vibration of like intimacy, like very strong intimacy vibration. So I don't know if some of you are in love or just maybe recently met somebody, engaged to proposed to, or just got married, or recently started dating, or something like that. Yeah, I mean, baby making. Leo ascendant, Leo rising, that baby making energy. Fifth house. Just having fun. That Leo energy is just all about fun. Like I'm kind of getting like a more intimate. I'm kind of getting also like red light district kind of thing. Like just like intimate fun, just like fun. Like somebody is kind of having fun or like the time of their life. Yeah, that's a first for this bunch of readings that I've done so far. You're just feeling good about yourself. Could be dealing with a Leo. Or could be dealing with a Virgo. Yeah, I feel like somebody may be a maybe like a maybe somebody does intimacy things for a living, like red light district kind of thing. Aries ascendant, lots of passion. Getting lots of passion, very fiery, passionate vibrations with you here. You're a self-starter, very beautiful, very attractive. But I'm getting somebody who does like, somebody could maybe have like an OnlyFans, or if it's not like an OnlyFans, it could be so there's like three scenarios. There's like somebody who is just really kind of feeling themselves, like, also with the Aries vibration here, I kind of feel like I feel like, because Aries is the first sign, it's the baby of the zodiac, so some of you could be expecting a baby, but also Aries is number one, so you could be someone's number one. Aries is about new beginnings, is about this, like you've gone through all of the zodiac signs and then you're back at number one. So it's kind of like somebody, you've done it all, you've been there, kind of vibration. Therefore, also it could be also an energy of sort of maybe rebranding. Could have lost weight. You could be trying a different fashion style, or something like that, right? Or you could be like traveling more. There's that vibration as well. And I feel like with a Leo vibration here, maybe not so much, I'm not really getting so much that you could yourself be like a Leo, but I'm just kind of getting the associations to Leo. So like I was saying, like all the fun things that are associated with Leo, the playfulness, the flirtatious nature, kind of being the center of attention. And I feel like you definitely are under the sun. Like you are definitely the center of attention for a lot of people in this particular season in your life, Scorpios. And I feel like you're loving it. I feel like you're definitely very magnetic at this time, and you're definitely pulling in. All right. That's the one vibration. The other vibration that I'm getting here is like somebody who could be like a sex worker, like, or somebody who has like an OnlyFans. And so for them, intimacy is like providing a service to the community or to the people or to clients or whatever. So somebody sees intimacy as a job, or somebody does intimacy for a job, and they see it as something that maybe it's not a part of them, but it's part of what they do, or it's like a service that they provide. Because Virgo is all about being of service to others, being of help to others. And so I feel like somebody could be, their way of contributing to humanity or their way of contributing to society is maybe through the offering of their body, or like the offering of intimacy, is something that they do. And so like the way that I'm translating that when they're whispering to me, I'm just kind of being made to feel the vibration of maybe somebody who's like an ass worker, like red light district kind of vibes. Or it could also be somebody who is like a companion, right? Like somebody who offers companionships, right, for a fee, or as a maybe they sell hugs, or they do a business where they just go and cuddle people, or they just go on dates with people just to cure like loneliness, or to cure brokenheartedness, or something like this, right? That's the second vibration. And then the third vibration I'm getting here, I'm kind of getting somebody who also in a similar, all of these are similar vibrations, similar frequencies, but they're just expressed very differently. This other third vibration is speaking to somebody who maybe is a matchmaker, like they could be a dating coach, they could be like a relationship guru type of person. And so they give advice on like how people should present themselves when they're going on first dates, how they should dress up when they're going on first dates, what kind of personality to uphold when they're going on first dates. And also maybe to some extent, if it's like a feminine person who does this, it could also be somebody who gives who combines mentorship with sexual health and dating. So you could be somebody who does that. And like you like you kind of like, you may give relationship advice, dating advice, but also maybe you advise women, for example, on proper hygiene, like proper sexual health hygiene, right? Yeah, this is kind of really the dominating energy with this reading. And then of course I was also picking up somebody who is really, really happy, feeling very, very in love with themselves. They maybe have just rediscovered a fountain of youth in their more later years, and maybe they're enjoying dating again, or just having a lot of fun. Like, so as they were saying, somebody may be engaged or just recently married, or maybe somebody started dating after like a long period of abstinence, or like a long period of celibacy. All right, they want me to do one more. So yeah, so very, very, very energized. And then we've got Capricorn Sun. Yeah, Jupiter is resting at the top of the deck, so really feeling very lucky, very expanded, very just blessed. This is a very feel good. Is this very Jupiterian, just feel good kind of vibration? Yeah. And I feel like part of what this person does, the person who does it as a job or as a profession, like the relationship guru, dating guru, is something that they see as part of their legacy. It's like a legacy that they want to leave like behind. And also, there's something about challenging the nature of Saturn, who is represented through Capricorn. So somebody could be maybe doing OnlyFans, for example, or they could be red light district kind of worker, or they, could be doing all these things that are seem or are seen as taboo, or seen as maybe something to be ashamed of. So like, it's somebody who engages intimacy in a way that challenges traditional Sartanian, old, outdated ways of looking at sex or intimacy, or people who do those things or for a living or for fun. That's why Capricorn is here. Capricorn is also the devil vibration in the tarot. So for others of you also, this could be an addiction that masquerades itself as positivity. So you also want to be on the lookout for that. All right, that could be another person, because I'm reading for a collective, so they could be trying to get to as many people as possible. And if you are the person for whom it's like an addiction, it's kind of like all these things we talked about. Yeah. So you want to be on the lookout for that. Making sure that, are you really doing it for fun because you really enjoy it, because or are you doing it because it masks something else that's more deep rooted that you're afraid to address? Okay. And if that's the case for that one person, or two or three, then also you want to be aware of your sixth house, which is the house of Virgo, and then what that entails in terms of your health, because they did bring that up as well. All right. So very, very, very straight to the point in this one. The spirits are very clear. They want me to move on to the tarot to see if I want to see how they will connect everything together here for Scorpio Collective. Oh, all right. What do we have here? They want me to continue shuffling. So it's a lot going on in this reading, but also Scorpios, you guys are a lot to deal with, because you guys have so many layers to you guys, Yeah, it's a lot. Why is this here? Okay. All right. All right. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. This is the Aries vibration that they were talking about. This connection. This is this link over here. This is about that new beginning. The Page of Pentacles is the beginning, right? Well, not exactly the beginning, but like you have sort of gone through all of the pentacles. You know, the ace, the two of pentacles, the three of pentacles, 5, 6 pentacles, all of that. You've gone through all of that, right? And then you get to the page of pentacles, where you are now, you're sort of embarked on some sort of a new journey, and you have been given this fortune or this wealth or this abundance or this opportunity, and it's kind of like, what are you going to do with it now, right? So this is the thing that I was getting, that like some of you guys may have found sort of like a new fountain of youth, so to speak, right? Where you may be feeling a little bit sort of like energized, and you have all this abundance and all this energy, and you're kind of like just going into the world, like almost like a fool's energy, although we don't have the fool over here. All right. Yeah. Ooh. Look at that. Because they were like saying, look at the bottom of the deck. Great. Now I know why they were saying that. Welcome back. There's a lot going on for you guys, Scorpio. It's a lot, right? But now, let's get back to this. There's an angel here. So they're saying that there's this, right? Now, for others of you, there was the other person who was coming here, and they were talking about doing, maybe you do like OnlyFans, or you do like red light district kind of thing, right? So you think you're providing a service for money, you know, for gain, for whatever. But is it a thing that truly brings you joy, right? Or does it mask something else that you are afraid to confront, right? Because we have here the Ten of Swords, which represents betrayal. It represents heartbreak. It represents basically everything bad that anybody can sort of really do to harm you, sort of really was done to harm you. And as you lay down, you've been kind of like, you know, stabbed with all of this, you know, 10 swords, and you are beaten down, you're totally exhausted, you're done, right? So I feel like some of you have gone through a lot of betrayal and a lot of hurt, a lot of abuse, a lot of humiliation, defamation, just the works, all right? And this thing that I was feeling so strongly when it was coming in about the OnlyFans or the red light district, like this, the sex, right? For some of you, is to numb the pain of all of this. So for others of you, may have turned it into a business that generates money, but sometimes you feel, is this dirty money? Is this clean money? You know, let's say for example, like somebody who does that for a job, right? And there could be maybe at the end of the day when you retire from all of your works, you could be feeling like, wow, like I'm doing this, I'm engaging my body in these activities, and of course I'm being paid, or I'm getting paid, or I'm generating this amount of money, and so forth and so forth. But at what cost, right? So I feel like some of you guys are trapped. You may be feeling trapped, like you may be feeling like maybe you don't like that you do that, or you do that job, or you do those jobs, but it brings in money, but because the money is coming reversed, I think there's a feeling of guilt. Of course you accept the money as you've done your work and you get your salary, but you may feel like maybe this work doesn't honor your legacy, or this work doesn't honor your integrity, right? And so you kind of wonder, the seeds that you've planted, are they yielding the results that truly bring you the true appropriate kind of joy, or is it like a facade of a joy, right? And that's why this is coming in the reverse, right? others of you also, it could be, as they were saying, there was a lot of things going on with like somebody who could be like a love guru, or it could be dating coach or whatever, like this kind of things, right? But these are also people who sometimes don't always have the best intentions. Like if you go on YouTube, for example, you'll find a lot of people making videos about relationship advice, people who like gurus, right? Advocating for relationships. Do this if you want to attract a man, do this if you want to attract a woman, do this, and don't do this. Or if you've had X amount of people on your, if you have a body count that's more than this, then you are pretty much done. You'll never find a relation. So there could also be people who function in this space, and it's not always positive, right? So I'm kind of getting an interplay between this very red, hot, passionate energies that don't always necessarily maybe function with the truest or purest intentions, right? And that's why the last download that they were showing me before the tarot was the Capricorn, and they said to me, it's the devil. Of course, Capricorn is also the 10th house. It represents legacy. But where there's legacy, there's also the enemy is the busiest there, because the enemy is trying to avoid you from breaking a generational curse. That's a legacy, right? Building financial wealth or generational wealth, that's a legacy, right? Being the first in your family to break or achieve a certain milestone, that's a legacy. And that's why also you have the devil in the 10th house, in the house of legacy. You have the devil, it's represented by Capricorn, because that's where that's why you notice when you're about to make the biggest changes in your life, when you're about to achieve the biggest milestone in your life, which are going to translate to your legacy, that's also where you have the biggest temptations, where your enemies come out of the woodworks from nowhere, So there's that relationship between the 10th house of Capricorn being the house of legacy, but also representing the devil, right? And my guides, again, they're coming through, and here it is at the bottom of the deck, right? So again, it's sort of also like when all of this is said and done, is it like a coping mechanism, or is it something that truly brings you like joy, right? And I think that this is where the invitation comes in. Is your invitation is to really look at this, what came before the tarot, and all the messages that they were saying, and sort of look at it as, is this in alignment with my integrity? Is this in alignment with who I truly am? Is this in alignment with my true happiness, right? Because the happiness did come through Jupiter. But for others of you, is it really true joy, or is it just something that you masquerade, like it's a mask? It functions like that, it looks like that to the outside world, ascendance, the way you present, right? But at an inner, more deeper core self, perhaps you wrestle with these things and you think, am I doing the right job? Am I, getting money in an honest, integrate way, or, or is it based on kind of misusing or taking advantage of people, right? So these are things that God is asking you to kind of reflect upon, right? Because I feel like maybe something is in the works for you. Again, with the Page of Pentacles here, we're looking at an opportunity that could be presented, that could shift things around, that could turn things around for you. But if you haven't done that work, here, in terms of your healing and growth journey, then you could be just going on the same thing over and over again. And that's why between your future goals, your legacy, also sits the devil, right? And Spirit is just, again, really coming through very strongly, just really confirming the cards as the messages they were saying. What's this that they want me to leave for later? Yeah, the Strength, in your case, represents discipline, structure, like organization and structure, being structured. sort of taming the beast, so to speak. Yeah, you got the Queen of Wands in the reverse. Queen of Wands is older. She is generally considered very magnetic, and that was also a word they used. She's also considered incredibly fashionable and stylish. She's beautiful, she's pretty. She has found the fountain of youth. There's also something about her, maybe that's a little bit dark, a little bit mysterious, a little bit witchy, right? With the Queen of Wands. But she came in reverse. And so when this comes in reverse, it indicates to me that sometimes, I'm not saying that this is you, Scorpio, but like sometimes the Queen of Wands, when it comes in reverse, it indicates somebody who maybe utilizes their appeal or their charm or their magneticism in a way that is beneficial only to themselves. Like somebody could try and charm their way through someone else, or a little bit kind of like manipulative, but with a bit of like flirtatiousness or flirtiness thrown into it. That's why it's reversed. For those of you who have wounds, like if there's a wounding that has been created because of this, which we talked about, the Ten of Swords, can also manifest itself in an injured or wounded self-esteem or self-concept, a healthy self-concept, self-confidence. It could also create a disassociation maybe between one's perceptions of one's appeal or one's beauty, right? It could also represent, in this case, Scorpio, maybe even also just some sort of dysphoria, like maybe gender dysphoria, or like some sort of, dysphoria, or also like imposter syndrome. It's also the Queen of Wands reversed, especially combined with the message that they were sharing and the Ten of Swords and the earlier messages about like OnlyFans and things like this. So others of you may feel as they were saying like, but could I do more? Could I be more? Maybe I'll only be seen as an OnlyFans artist, or maybe I'll only be seen as a red district person. It doesn't matter if I try and find another job or another opportunity. This may just be the only thing, right? So you may see yourself, because you maybe suffer from like a lack of self-confidence or self-esteem, you may not see your own beauty or your own appeal, your own magneticism, or that you can actually rise above a situation. And so other people prey and capitalize on your beauty, your naivety, your innocence, or they have, and maybe that has led to the disappointments. And for others of you who maybe feel a sense of being stuck in that sort of like red light district or like an OnlyFans, it could also be because maybe you don't feel confident that you could be anything more than that. And so again, it's that energy they were asking, is it really something that really brings you joy? Are you happy, right? Or as a mask, and what you do is really to cope, with some other underlying issues that are going on. Hence the devil energy here. But they also wanted me to share this with you as well. This is the marriage card. Because remember, they were talking here about marriage, someone maybe possibly engaged, possibly married, right? So it's very interesting for me how the cards are sort of also playing themselves out to confirm the messages that they were saying earlier on. That maybe in the spirit, some of you are bound to be engaged. Sometimes if you're Christian, they will speak about your kingdom spouse. If you're a spiritual person, they'll talk about your twin flame, your soulmate, this type of things, right? You you make the call, whether you see it as kingdom spouse or, I'm just relaying the message. So what they're saying to me is that, like, in the spirit, you may be already have been proposed to or about to be engaged, right? But I feel like that the devil sits on that blessing, basically, right? So again, they're bringing that same message that they were saying earlier here, that with every legacy, like, because also marriage is a legacy, because you could marry into wealth and create generational wealth, right? And that brings you out of poverty. It changes your life in a positive way, right? Or you could be the first in your family to get married, right? Or everybody in your family, they marry, after a year they get divorced, or marriages don't work, but maybe you are the one who is to break that curse, right? And the enemy knows that, or the enemy has always known that. And so, like, your soul contract on earth maybe was to come and get married and break that generational curse of failed marriages in your lineage, right? And maybe also with that marriage, God blesses you because, when you have your protector, you have your provider, you have your man who stands by you, or you have your wife who nurtures you, who cares for you, who maybe provides as well in other ways, maybe financially in other ways, whatever the configurations may be. The point is that you may be the one who was meant to come and achieve that thing, that milestone that would become like a legacy in your family, right? We've heard of stories, or I've heard of stories where people say, oh, like, yeah, this family, they were born 6 of them, and Annette or Julian was the only one who got married. All the other ones, they just had failed relationships, but somehow Julian was able to hold it through, and she was married until the age of 85, or whatever the case, right? That is actually a blessing, right? There's something that sort of allowed, in spirit as above as below, like that allowed for Julian to actually experience that, and for the other people to fail. So she achieved her life mission, right? And that's just like an example. And that's the thing they were saying here, that for some of you, whether it's marriage or something else, there's a legacy, there's something that you're trying to achieve, but also the devil, the enemy, sits on it, right? And the enemy can represent addictions, can represent procrastination, can represent a lack of discipline, a lack of structure, lack of organization in your life, alcoholism. It could represent just anything that really presents itself like as an obstacle, right? Sometimes a job that you do also can hold you hostage, right? For example, if you are like somebody who does OnlyFans, or like you're like red light district kind of worker, you may have done it for so long that you feel like that's your only identity, and that you would not be worthy of having a marriage. Like, what man would want to marry you, or what woman would want to marry you when they find out the history of the works that you have done, right? So like, it gets you into this position where you kind of play yourself out of your own blessing. And that's what God is trying to help you to overcome that. So that when you overcome that, you remove the obstacle of the devil sitting on your blessing, sitting on your spirit spouse, sitting on your blessings and your connections. All right? So that's kind of what I'm getting for Scorpio. And really, truly, I feel like you are somebody who's very, very blessed, very, very lucky with the Jupiterian energy here. But definitely there's a lot of things going on. And for some of you, you have a lot of wounds, emotional wounds, psychological wounds that you really have to work through. A lot of you guys feel imposter syndromes that you have to really work through. A lot of you guys really need to work on your discipline, your structure, bringing organization into your life, because the opportunity, I feel like, is there. God wants to give it to you, but like, when you've got all of this other stuff that's going on, and maybe you've been distracting yourself with sex or like OnlyFans or whatever the case may be, I'm just really getting very strong sexual like energies going on. And so I feel like maybe that may be the thing that you deal with the most. All right, no judgment here, we're just getting the messages and we're helping each other out. But so I don't know who is this, or because I mean there were several people coming through, so I know it's definitely is for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 of you out there. But I hope that there were some things here that really clicked for you, that made sense for you, that sort of helps you in your growth journey. All right. So thank you all so much. I wish you all the best with this, Scorpios, and I will see you guys during the August readings. All right. Take care.